Welcome to the Robin Robinson Show. How you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing well. I know the kids some of them are not too happy about going back to school, but I know the parents are very happy. We love you, but it's time to go back to school so life can go back to being normal again. Okay, how you guys feel about a woman president? Is there a change that we need in this country? Or are we happy with what's happening right now in front of us? Sam Cooke, the late Sam Cooke used to say, a change is going to come. Anyway, you guys, I miss you so much, and I just needed to say that to you guys. I have to let you know what happened to me a few nights ago. I couldn't make this up to save my life. Well, I went out to dinner and I was having a ball with some friends, and we just had a great dinner. And I normally try not to eat out too much because I have to watch what I eat and what goes into my food. So anyway, I came home that night. I was feeling wonderful, you guys. I went to bed. Now, I can't tell you for the life of me what time I decided to get up in the middle of the night to get a glass of water. But when I got up, I stood in front of the sink, I drank my water, and then I realized I wasn't feeling good for some reason. I started to shake. My stomach was messed up. I had a temperature. And I knew I was sick. I knew something was wrong. And it was to the point that I didn't feel like my body was my own, you guys. I started to shake uncontrollable. And I'm standing there trying to understand what's happening to me. And I couldn't make heads or tails of why I was sick. After having such a great evening with friends and dinner and no alcohol for me. But anyway, so as I'm standing there, I realize it's getting worse, and I can't stop shaking, you guys. And my head and my stomach, all at the same time. I'm shaking, my stomach is hurting, and I feel like I want to throw up, but I can't. And for some reason or another, I grabbed hold to my kitchen sink. Why? I don't know. I just felt like I was falling. But nevertheless, I grabbed hold to my kitchen sink, and at some point in time, you guys, I must have let go. And in the process of me letting go, I fell backwards and I hit my head. Now, for some reason, it felt like to me that I went slow motion because it took me a while before I felt the bang in the back of my head. And when I felt it, I laid there and I didn't move evidently, and it took me a while to get back up. But for the life of me, you guys, I can't tell you if I passed out or what happened to me at that moment. I just know that I retrieved myself from the floor, the kitchen floor. As I made my way to either the bathroom or the bedroom, I couldn't see it on my camera, but I'm going to tell you about that in a few minutes. I got back in my bed, evidently, and I went to sleep. Around 7:30 in the morning, I got a phone call from one of my favorite cousins. And you guys notice I said one of my favorite cousins because I have a few that I love and I adore, and we're very close. But this cousin, her name is Terry. She called me around 7:30 in the morning and she said, "Hey, cuz, what are you up to today? It's such a great day." I said, "Terry, I had a miserable night last night. Evidently, I must have been sick with something because I had a high fever. My stomach was upset. I felt like I was going to throw up, and I started to shake." She said, "Oh my God." She said, "You fell?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Robin," she said, "I love you to death, but I need you to get off this phone and I need you to go to the hospital." I said, "Terry, I'm okay. I don't need to go to a hospital." She said, "Cuz, please do me a favor. You hit your head, go to the hospital." So I said, okay. I am now. You guys, I don't know whether I said okay to get her off the phone or just okay that I'm okay and nothing's happening to me. Don't worry. But I followed her advice at some point in time, and I got off the phone and I got dressed. And I said, well, okay, I'll drive myself to the ER. And then in the back of my mind, it says, Robin, don't drive yourself. You were shaking uncontrollable. You fell. You hit your head. Now, does that sound like a person that should drive themselves to the hospital? So at that point, I called 911 and I called for an ambulance. Again, you guys, I couldn't make this up. So anyway, the ambulance came, and his name is Dave. Hey, Dave. Thank you so much, Dave, for coming into my home and helping me and assisting me and doing all that you could do by telling jokes in the ambulance and trying to make me feel good. Dave is from Westfall Fire Department, and you guys really rocked. Anyway, as they proceeded to put me into the ambulance on a gurney, I wasn't feeling too happy because who wants to be in an ambulance? Or who wants to be on a gurney? Let's face it, it's just not a great thing to feel like, but I felt like I needed to go. Nevertheless, once I was inside of the ambulance, and Dave was so nice and so caring and just telling me one joke after the other, and I started laughing and I felt real miserable and I felt like I wanted to vomit. And he gave me one of those long tubes that you vomit in. And oh my word, let me just say to you guys, he was the nicest man that I could ever meet. And I was so proud to be in that ambulance with Dave. He was caring. He was just really, really showed that, I don't care what you look like. If you get sick, hey, listen, I'm here to help you. I'm here to make sure that you arrive at the ER safely and they take good care of you. And I want to say, Dave, thank you so much. And the Westfall Fire Department, you guys rock. You're there on time. You don't waste a minute, because a minute could be someone's life. And I just want to send a big shout out and love and kisses to you, and thank you so much. Anyway, you guys, as I arrived at the ER hospital, they take me right in. They do a CAT scan. They do an EKG. They take blood work. They do chest x-rays. They x-rayed my leg and the back of my head because I took a hell of a fall, But anyway, so after that, I didn't know whether they were going to let me go, but evidently they didn't. I stayed overnight. And then when Dave passed by my room, Dave came in. I said, hey, Dave. I said, let me tell you what I just thought of. He said, what? I said, I have cameras in my home. I said, you know what? I'm laying here thinking that as bad as the fall was to me, I really need to go back and look at what happened to me. He said, wow, that's a great idea. I said, now I don't really know if I want to see myself falling and laying on the floor. I said, I don't know if I'm able to deal with that. But I have to, because I need to know what exactly happened to me. So Dave, he said he understood, and he walked out, and I laid there in that bed, and I said, Robin, you need to know, is unattractive, is not wanting to see yourself lay on the floor and have to scramble to get up off the floor. You need to see it for yourself. So by the time I got home the next day, which they let me go, I made a beeline to my phone and my cameras, and I wanted to see exactly what had transpired as I took this hell of a fall and me standing over the kitchen sink shaking uncontrollable. As I began to look at the camera, I want to tell you guys, it's no picnic to see yourself laying straight out on your kitchen floor and not moving, but just laying there. And seeing the results of me shaking uncontrollable was not a walk in the park for me, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. It just was not easy for me to look at. And as I looked at it, you guys, I'm still thinking, oh my God, look at me. I'm stretched out here. I'm unable to move. It seemed that way. And then finally, at some point in time, I managed to pick myself up off the floor. I could see on the camera. And I made my way into the room, and I don't know what I did afterwards. I probably went to sleep. But as I'm on the phone with my cousin and she's telling me to go to the hospital, I'm remembering everything that transpired in my life. And I want to say that to say, you guys, that if you live alone or you're an empty nester and there's nobody to check up on you, and yes, I know that we feel like we're superhuman beings, that we can make it. We're not sick. There's nothing wrong with us. We don't want to go to the hospital. Well, let me just say for the record, you guys, it's the time that you don't go to the hospital. That's when something can be truly, truly wrong with you. So take my advice. If you fall, if you feel sick, go to the ER. It doesn't cost you nothing. Maybe a little pride if you go in an ambulance because people are looking at you. Who cares? I would rather be in an ambulance on a stretcher than in the grave. Okay? But I know it's hard for a lot of people because the way we were brought up, be it a man or a woman, that we don't need to go to the hospital. We're able to drive ourselves. And trust you me, I have driven myself many times to the ER if I felt it necessary. But in this case, I felt like, wow, I took a bad fall. I need to go to the ER. And of course, you have people looking at you because you're on this stretcher and you're laid flat out and you feel so vulnerable and you feel like, do I really need this? Well, yes, you do. Yes, you do. But as I thought about Dave, who was so marvelous with me, and I started to tell Dave at the hospital, Dave, you know what? Sickness does not take a holiday, nor does it take a vacation. And we laughed about that. But when Dave walked into my home, he told me, he made a joke. He said, wow, when I walked into your house, I thought I was walking into a celebrity's home. I said, no, Dave, I'm just a podcaster, just a little old podcaster human being. And we laughed about that. But you know what? In this life here, we have to make sure that we're not too vain and that we can be able to know when something could be really serious in our lives. And I was glad that I had the concern to be able to get up off that floor. Maybe I should have went right then and there, but you know what? I was brought up in my life, and I'm pretty sure that some of you guys can identify with me, that you, this superhero, this strong human being that has weathered the storms many, many times in your life, and this too shall pass. But at the same time, we need to be human beings and realize, people, we are just made out of flesh and blood, And again, like I said, I would rather be laying on a gurney than underneath the ground. And I just wanted to tell you guys what had happened to me, because I feel like you guys are my family and I miss you guys when I don't communicate with you guys. And I want to tell you how much I love you and how much you guys have supported me and been there for me and just rolled with me. I just love you so much. And I thank you so much for just listening to the Robin Robinson Show. And you guys know what I say. Things happen in everyone's home. Bye.